Alright, so starting to film videos here on YouTube has brought many challenges, and with that comes much needed upgrades. I've always wanted to build a camera rig for filming, and recently I've been actually collecting some of the pieces to do exactly that. I'm going to be starting a new series on the channel talking all about the pieces I bought to build this rig and kind of showing you why exactly I use them and what's the purpose to all these pieces. Today I'm going to be showing you the monitor I use and how exactly I record my videos. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. It's good to see you. I'm going to be making some more camera gear centered videos coming up here in the future, so stay tuned for that, as well as some other videos about gaming that has all sorts of coverage on The Last of Us 2 and the release coming up. So if that's something you're into, consider subscribing. Of course, if you have any questions or want to talk about anything I'm discussing in the video today, feel free to stop by the stream on Twitch where I go live. I'd love to see you stop by and we can chat about all things sort of tech related or any movie or game news that has come up. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a device that has become extremely helpful in my workflow and have helped me out when it comes to recording videos and monitoring what my camera sees. This device right here is the Atomos Ninja V, and it is a camera monitor as well as a recorder. What that basically means is I can see whatever my camera sees, which is extremely helpful considering the Sony that I have, the A7R Mark III, does not have a flip-out screen, which has become incredibly inconvenient when it comes to filming videos like this, considering that I need to get up all the time and check to see if I'm actually in focus. So once you plug this in through HDMI cord, then you can actually see what your camera sees, and I have it mounted up, which I'll be showing you in the future some of my mounting options for how I mount this monitor on my camera. So I'm going to be showing you some of the cool features that this monitor has, as well as show you how I record using this device. Let's go ahead and start off on the back right here. As you can tell, it does not use SD card. This right here is a 500GB SSD that comes from basically a sister company from Atamos. This is the closest brand when it comes to them. This brand manufactures SSDs that are completely compatible with this device, but you can also use other SSDs from other companies like Sony or any other brand that you feel fits your needs for an SSD. Cool thing about this is it is made out of metal, so it is really good quality. So all you have to do is just slide it in right here and it pops into place and it works just like that. For power right here, you have multiple options. You can use a Sony NPF battery, which I do not have. And so the cool thing that comes with this is you have sort of this dummy battery that you plug in right here, and you have a cable that runs through power, which I have plugged into the cable on the wall. An alternative that I've gone with is using a V-mounted battery that I have in my camera rig, which I will be showing you in a future video. I got this cable right here that I bought on Amazon. It just plugs into the back right here, and then it has a P-tap or D-tap cable that you just plug in straight to the battery. As you can see, this is a pretty short cable, so you don't have to worry about cable management when you have all these cables going around your rig, which is extremely convenient when you're shooting and you don't have all these messy cables everywhere. So that's basically everything on the back. On the side right here, you have an HDMI input and output. So this is where you plug in from your camera. It goes input to here, and then you can output right here to another monitor, or you can connect to probably a wireless transmitter that you can send signal to other monitors that are probably in a base camp somewhere else where you're filming. On the top right here where you have these fins where the fan kind of blows out, which you can sort of hear, it has a low hum, so you don't have to really worry about that when you're shooting, if you're shooting audio on the camera. And then right here you have a 1/4" mount on the top as well as on the bottom, just in case you want to mount it for different angles, whether you have a mounting point from the top or from the bottom. On the side right here, we have the power button as well as a mic jack and headphone jack in case you want to plug in an external microphone straight into this device and record audio from that. And then you have a headphone jack to monitor everything that you are recording. So that's basically everything on the external view of this box. Let's go ahead and get inside and see what kind of cool features this device actually has. So as soon as you have it plugged in and connected to your camera, the feed is sent directly to this monitor, and this is sort of the main screen that you have as soon as it turns on. First button we have right here is the record button, which does exactly that. Next we have the review button, which after you record you can kind of click this. Then your footage comes up where you can review it. As you can see, I don't have any videos on it because I have completely cleared out what I have recorded so far. So to get out of this, you just hit the record button again and it takes you straight back to the menu screen. Of course, it just takes a couple seconds to load back up. As you can see on the top, you have sort of your recording settings as well as battery and audio indicator. So once you click on the top, this thing is completely touchscreen, where now you have all your settings right here in a slide format right here all on top. So let's go ahead and start with input. This basically is one of the most important settings that you have to deal with, considering this is how you want your footage to look. So one of the biggest things you have to worry about when you're using this is to make sure you turn on log or HDR if your camera supports that. This basically turns on the settings from your camera and not use the native settings from the monitor. So right here, as you can see, when I have it turned off, it just shows standard, but as soon as you turn it on, it automatically connects to Sony, and now we have it in S-Log 3. So there are many different, of course, gammas that you can use. Of I looked on Reddit sometimes and I feel like there are some people that have some complications when it comes to S-Log, but at the moment I'm currently using S-Log 3 for mine. And then for gamut, you have multiple settings right here, but I just currently use the recording to 709. And then of course you have your HDMI signal, which you can have 1.4 or 2.0, which of course 2.0 is the more newer version. Then you have your input, which of course HDMI. Your output setting is basically how you're going to output the footage to another monitor or the wireless transmitter that we were talking about earlier. So you can change some of the settings here on if you want HDR to go out or how you want the footage to be seen. Next we have record, which I think is one of the most important features of this entire device. This basically is going to help your workflow when it comes to editing. So basically right here, your codec, you can record in ProRes, which is going to help you later down the line when you're editing on Final Cut or Adobe Premiere Pro. So right here you have your different codec settings, DNHD or ProRes right here. So go ahead, you can change that to ProRes, and then you have your different compressions. One little tip on how I decide about this compression right here is I scroll through all these little settings right here and I see which one has the less time, considering that that is probably the bigger files, which means less time, which I assume is better quality. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to HQ for that one. And then these two right here, you can't really change. Next we have file, which I think is pretty convenient that you can change sort of the number and name of your file format. You have 2, 1, you can change the letters. You can sort of name your files out, and you have complete customizability when it comes to your scene and your shot and the take. Next we have the meters, which is how you're going to record audio. As you can see, the dial is moving right now because I'm recording audio to my camera, even though I'm not recording actually externally to this device. The way this records is from left to right. So if you have 5 and 6 activated as well as 1 and 2, it's going to record 1 and 2 and you're not going to be able to hear 5 and 6. So you're going to want to turn all the ones off before the channel that you actually want to record. This dialog right here says analog, which is where the external microphone records to. Next up, we have the audio setting, which is how you'll be able to hear the audio if you have external headphones connected to this. Once we're done with that setting, you can go ahead and scroll on over here and you can see that there are more settings over here like media, which basically tells you what hard drive you're using. Right now it says I have the SSD mini and I have 500 gigabytes of capacity in it left. Then we have other settings like the time code and date and kind of your battery levels, which you don't need to worry about if you have it plugged into a wall. Then we have, of course, the info, Atoms, and some other features if you want to check those out for yourself. So that's everything on the top bar. Let's go ahead and move down here to the bottom bar features, which I think really helps you when it comes to filming live. So if you click this button right here, you can customize the color of what's in focus and what isn't. I currently have mine set to green because it kind of lets me know that green is good. You have all these colors. You can use gray, red, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink. Right over here, we kind of have an intensity indicator. So if you want to show specifically what's in focus and what isn't, right there you can see over the edges of my shoulder, I am in focus. But as I slowly go out, you can see now the background becomes focused. Let me turn this to green actually. Background becomes focused now. You can see the PC behind me is now in focus because it's highlighting green. And then as I move to my face, now you can see my eyes are in focus because of the green highlight around my eyes. Next up, we have this exposure tool right here, which lets you know what's overexposed in your shot. As you can probably see right here, just barely, there's a little overexposure by the beam. And if I turn up my little key light here, you will slowly start to see the dotted lines pop up on my face, indicating that you are overexposed. Now my light is at 100%, and as you can tell, I am incredibly overexposed. You can see on the background and around the light, and especially all over my face, there is all those dotted lines showing you that you need to lower your lights. We go ahead and turn that off. Then over here we have some other cool graphs, which if you are going to use those, they're very convenient for you. And then we have this magnifying glass, which magnifies your image by 2 times, so you can make sure you get the details when you're trying to focus, and you can really make sure it's accurate. This next little feature right here is your aspect ratio, and I have mine currently set to 16:9, but you can also change it to 241 or 235, 1:9, 185, 4:3. And that's about it. But as you can tell, there are some pretty cool aspect ratios. If you want to shoot in 4:3, you just select it 4:3, and now you can see what's in your image and what isn't. Let's go ahead and go back to this feature I showed you briefly when I was customizing the focus. But if we click this and start all the way from the left, we have waveform. This basically gives you more customizability when it comes to these features right here. So you have the customizability when it comes to the waveform graphs, the brightness of them and the opacity. And then of course the focus peaking and the colors of them and the intensity like we were showing you earlier. Another great feature about this monitor is that you can actually apply LUTs to it while you're recording, so you don't have to worry about adding that later on in post. To activate the LUTs, what you would actually have to do is head to monitor first, and then you have different record settings. The first one right here we have is native, which is the native signal that comes straight from the camera. And then we have your record 709, your HLG, your PQ, and then your LUT. I currently have it set to PQ. You activate your LUTs right there. Then you head back to LUTs, and then now you have your selection from about 8 different LUTs that you want to activate. Next up we have display, which I don't really want to mess with. Kind of ruins the authenticity of what you're shooting. So that's basically all the majority of the settings we have in this little dial right here, as well as on the entire screen. Some pros to this device would definitely be being able to use your LUTs when you record, which saves you plenty of time when you're editing, as well as being able to record in ProRes, which as well saves you time when you're editing, makes the footage a lot much easier to scrub through when you're in Final Cut or Adobe Premiere. Another pro is definitely all the settings that this device comes with. Having features like being able to tell you if you're in focus or not, or having an exposure setting really helps you out when you're shooting and making sure that your shot looks as clean as possible. Another pro would definitely be recording with an SSD versus an SD card. I can tell you how many times I've run out of space on an SD card or have to change out them multiple times. Being able to use an SSD gives you that larger file size, as well as being able to record in ProRes and other file formats that you can use. At the moment, I cannot think of any cons for this device, but rest assured, I will definitely let you know. If anything pops up, I will drop it down in the comments down below. I think this device would definitely help out anyone looking to make the upgrade with their camera setup at home. That's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, it lets me know. Comment down below an essential device that you use on the daily, or what other piece you'd like to upgrade on your camera setup at home. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe. I appreciate all the support I've gotten so far. Stay tuned for the next episode in this series where I talk about how exactly I power this entire rig. Don't forget to consume and produce, and thank you for watching.
So this stage was the music and that one is the trailer? How was I supposed to know that? Oh, come on. Look at me run. Go, Kylo, run. They're talking about it over here.